We are Legion.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Legion of Comic. I'm Mark, and I'm joined here by my good friend, the Comic Vet. And it's at Week's End, episode 27, your spoiler-filled look back on this week in comics and more. And before we get started, go ahead and check this out. So if you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. This coming Wednesday is the 600 subscriber live giveaway. I've got a bunch of cool prizes, a lot of stuff to win. And if you're able to make it to the actual live show, you'll have more opportunities to win more things. So it'll be around 9 p.m. Eastern time. So be sure to hit that notification bell. If you haven't entered already, you can definitely just go back and check out that video. You cannot miss it. It's from last week. And yeah, it's super simple. All the prizes are listed and how that you enter for it is listed as well. You do not have to be present to win the GP, but everything else you might have to, you might not sure. Just kind of playing it by ear. So we'll see. So how are you doing tonight, Chris?
Wonderful. It's a beautiful day in Ontario here, and yeah, it's a big upgrade from what we've had for the last couple of days. So yeah, it's a good way to end the long weekend.
That's good to hear. It's been a long one for me as well. This is my busiest time of the year because the Augusta Nationals Golf Club does their annual Masters tournament.
Yeah.
So it's just all the schools, all the colleges here. We have tons of colleges here, medical colleges, all that, and they all line everything up with this tournament so that like the locals can dip out and all the people coming in for the tournament come in. It is insane. But yeah, it's busy time of year for us.
I've heard stories on sports radio where they talk about how Augusta is just a normal sized city, and then when the Masters rolls in, it feels like it swells to about New York City, and then after the tournament's over, it slowly shrinks back down to the weekend where there it's back to normal again.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's really fun though, like because again, I work with pets. I run a kennel and stuff, so we go from having like average weekends with like 80, 90 pets, being a good average weekend this time of the year. We're running like 150, 160 pets.
Ooh,
and but it's something, man. No off days for like 2 weeks. It's enjoyable. Right. It's not something that you're like, man, I want to do it, but while you're doing it, you're always excited that it's actually working out. And when it's over with, you feel really accomplished. So that's always good stuff to it.
Yeah, and it's a good way to get small businesses into the black in, the early part of the spring as well.
Dude, when I tell you this entire city banks on this week, like plans on it, like it's built into their budgeting. I'm not joking.
Yeah, I can imagine the restaurants. It's a big push for them as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, let's say hey to some people in the chat real quick before we get fired up on all the stuff we're going to plan on covering tonight. But we got Ruben Guzman here as always. Lucretius 1971. We got Chip Getler in the chat. Gary B, the casual comic guy.
Sorry for your loss, Gary.
Tough loss, brother. If everybody doesn't know about it, Slotted Up been started. It's fantastic Sunday night game show. It's Slotted Up 503. The name of the game show is Rigged, and Gary B went head to head against Jimmy the Don from Small Town Collectibles tonight. Great show. Gary came prepared for war. I will say that. I wish I was able to be more active in it, but again, been real busy. I was able to have it fired up in the background. I was able to listen to most of it, but it was a good time. And I can't say how cool it is. Those commercials keep getting cooler and cooler. The midway commercials are great.
Yeah, Jay's having a lot of fun with that show, and good for him. He's a fantastic human being.
Absolutely. We got Dan Ecker here. Hey guys, how's it going? See that Lord Zeds and the Monsters. It's morphin' time. Lady fuck Facebook. Nice. PJ King, how are you tonight? Todd Christian, what's going on? Hey, and speak of the devil, what is going on, Jason? Let's see who else we got in here. Rami Salami, my man, how's it going? Wheelchair Superhero 87, glad you can make it. A big yer to DJ Links. Hey, it's two hot guys. I mean, two cool guys. That's in reference to the video that Chris just posted right before this, every Sunday night or every Sunday at no specific time is the two cool guys, two hot pigs video.
Usually, usually it's Sunday morning around noon Eastern. I like to throw that up. Apologies, just had to do fam time today, and
And
was
nothing wrong with that.
and so it's the the Easter edition that has to come out.
The Easter, that's right.
Yeah, the Easter special. And when Jay was doing his rigged game show with those two, or pardon me, those three other awesome people, Taylor, Jimmy, and Gary, I decided to wait for them to do it, or wait for them to finish up. Again, sorry for your loss, Gary. And I threw it up at that point, hoping that everyone that's still on YouTube happens to see the collective ideas that you and I put out every Sunday.
Yeah, I enjoy doing it. It's really fun. It's cool seeing some of them pan out. Most of my pictures are story picks, but that one that you picked today, that wasn't even on my radar. I don't know how I missed it because of that writer is definitely on my radar. But I'm not going to get into much details. If y'all want to know what books are on it, definitely go check that video out. And that's on the Comic Vets channel every Sunday. All right, Comicade, how is it going, buddy? Here's another guy with an awesome channel. He's got a very, very creative mindset, and it really shows in some of the stuff he does. And it's definitely a family-friendly channel as well. So if that's your gig, you can let that rock and play anywhere you're at. Nick's Kicks and Comics, what is going on, brother? And it jumped on me. We got Specs here. How's it going? All right. Boom. What is going on, Paul? There's the Augusta Book Exchange. That's my local LCS. So yeah, we got 18 people here. Appreciate everyone watching. So there's a couple of things just kind of news related that happened that not a lot, just something that I want to mention and maybe get your thoughts on it. Then we'll dive into these books and talk some movies and TV shows after that. So if any of you guys out there have not are not up to date with the most recent Invincible or Falcon Winter Soldier movies, don't worry. Hang out for a good while before we get into all that. But I did see where it was announced that James Wan Aquaman spinoff movie, The Trench, that they were going to do, got canceled, as well as the New Gods movie got canceled.
To me, the bigger of the two was the New Gods, just for the fact that they had a creative team in the process, and like there was
director, everything.
Yeah, there was stuff happening, and honestly, Mark, it seemed to be happening fast too.
You know what? I thought about this today when I was watching the Snyder Cut on my break from work.
Yeah,
that's right. I'm still watching it. My daughter was over for Easter, and I had a break from work, and we're just letting it ride on the TV while the whole family's coming in. Like my brother and his kids came over to Easter egg hunt with my kids and stuff, and he hadn't seen it yet. But anyways, they canceled New Gods after the success of the first appearance of the Fourth World.
So let's back.
So what I'm thinking, like I saw the news, I'm like, oh, bummer. And then the very next day I'm watching the Snyder Cut. I'm like, wait a minute. They canceled what they were attempting to do because they just rolled them out successfully. Maybe
the Armada is coming.
The Armada is coming. Maybe. Or even if they don't go full on with a Snyder Cut 2 or a Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, they're just having to say, we have to stop this before we put out something that people obviously will not be well receptive to, because we know what Apocalypse looks like now. We know what New Gods look like now, and we expect these now. They saw the fan reaction and the fanfare to what was delivered, and what they were working on might not have been their approach to take. Because from what I understood, they were going to work on something kind of along the vein of Tom King's run on Mr. Miracle, which would be fantastic, but this is not the time to do it successfully for a mass audience.
The DC news seems to be coming fast and furious, especially in the last 7 days. I find whether it's
dominating the news,
whether it's The Rock talking about that he absolutely wants Henry Cavill, and that apparently The Rock has a lot more pull.
Dude, he's The
Warner.
Rock. Yeah, straight exactly. Lovable.
Way more pull with the executives at Warner than initially thought, and that he has a lot more creative control than I initially thought. How true that is, we'll see. But as soon as I found out that the New Gods, after seeing that the director and her talking about it, and all of a
She was
sudden
all
it
excited
being basically vetoed almost, overnight.
overnight. Yeah.
Boom. My thought was they they're listening to the hashtag restore the Snyderverse. It's going to happen. That was my initial thought. Like, holy crap, what's Zack Snyder doing right now? Is he like, is the zombie movie like completely finished, no finishing touches? And like, what does he know that we don't know? Have they contacted him again? Because like the first 48 hours, the first 72 hours, yeah.
Shazam strikes again.
The first 72 hours was enjoy this, but this is all you're gonna get. And so that's what I did. I took it in and loved it for what it was. I thought it was, as far as a masterpiece could go for a comic book movie, it's pretty damn close to what a comic book movie should be, especially when you're dealing with all the major franchises from the DC universe.
Mhm.
But
It was
again,
handled so well.
everyone has got to be in the same frame of thought as what we're talking about right now. As soon as you found out that the New Gods had the plug pulled, considering the actual creative team in place and being announced in public, and the director actually speaking about it before being vetoed, that everyone's going to be thinking the same thing, that the hashtag restore the Snyderverse is starting to happen.
Yeah, I think that movie, despite the fact how excited I would be about it, it would be odd timing because the comics compete with each other all the time, but the people that pick up the comics, they know that Submariner exists, they know that Aquaman exists. They don't take that any type of way. They understand that the general audience that these movie companies want to sell to, if you put out New Gods and Eternals around the same time, you're just going to whoever gets out first is going to win that race, and everyone else is going to think the other one is just a copycat. When it's just that's not necessarily the nature of it. So there's got to be some kind of like cause and effect to this with the timing of just the success of the Snyder cut itself, the hashtag movement, just the growing momentum it's having. It did the opposite of shut the fans up.
The one thing, as a Henry Cavill Superman fan, the one thing I want to see is either J.J. Abrams announces that Cavill's going to be returning, or that J.J. Abrams loses that project altogether. If we just lost the New Gods and something happens with Abrams Superman, 100% that Zack Snyder is back at the helm for DC and what they're going to be doing for the next short term, right up till we get Black Adam, because God only knows what's going to happen after Black Adam finally arrives.
Yeah,
And what about Blue Beetle?
I'm stoked for that. Like,
Yeah.
I just hope that they hit us with the new 52 time error so that they have like Jaime and Ted Cord, because I like Ted Cord, the classic. Jaime's awesome, like with the whole reach technology and everything. You're kind of adding in a whole alien race to it because that's where he gets his suit tech and whatnot. But I think it'd be cool to see them two working together, kind of similar to in Ant-Man, watching the first generation working with the second generation hero and everything as a mentor. But I think before they made the announcement that it was Jaime, I was just the most hopeful that we'd get the whole buddy cop thing with Booster and Beetle. I thought that would be the way to go. What is going on, Simple Simon? How are you? Another clue to them restoring the Snyderverse is that they officially announced that the Batman takes place on Earth 2. Yeah, they turned that real quick. Like that was just all these actual Easter eggs are coming. Like this is all great news for people like me, DJ, Slotted Up, yourself, like people that were fans of what they were doing with the DC stuff and kind of understood like what could be versus what we were getting, and finally seeing what could be happen. It all just looks like good news to me. Like maybe the studios are kind of starting to listen to the fans more and not those focus groups that they test the stuff off of who aren't necessarily the audience that the creators are aiming towards. Zach aims for a very specific audience, and it is big enough to give the movies a success. And I think that might be what slowed him down in the past, is they thought the movies he were making were too targeted and it wouldn't reach enough people. So I don't know.
I think the fan base is now wise to the idea that in order to make this work, they're going to have to show up the way that they showed up after we got the Joss Whedon edition, leading into the Zack Snyder one, and seeing the numbers that seem to be popping up and the strength of the movement, that these people who've been plugging, the hashtags for the last couple of years, whatever film we get next, if Zach has creative control of it, they're going to have to show up, on force to make sure that this film is successful. It can't be another $300 million movie. If they want this to stick around, if this is what they really want, they're going to have to go see it, bright and early opening weekend and make sure that it turns into the mega hit that it's supposed to be. And God willing, that next one is Man of Steel 2.
That would be cool. Now, I did see somebody on Instagram today. She was reaching out to just anyone who followed her and asked for some help because she's in Canada and couldn't figure out how to watch the Snyder Cut. And a lot of people are giving her all these pirate websites. And I actually tagged you in, and I don't know if you call that notification. I'm like, he can help you out on where to watch it legally, where you're actually supporting the film. Because that's really important. And I dropped the hashtag in there just to remind all the pirates in the comment section that, if you want more of this, you have to go about it the right way. You have to show up, like you have to support it. You have to buy tickets. You have to subscribe to the services, or you have to buy the movie when it comes out. You have to support it to get it. And this is a cool point, real quick. How Todd said we could do 2 Superman movies as well, the Abrams project and a continuation of the Cavill Superman. So one thing that we talked about before is with the success of Justice League and it being an HBO property, maybe they could take advantage of that and I know it'd be new territory, but to keep a big cinematic director around to kind of work on your streaming service stuff as well. There's a lot already happening at DC that's not going to stop. Suicide Squad being a great example. The next thing coming, Black Adam. But to continue Snyder's vision on the streaming platform will be a great way to bring people into that as well.
Yeah, for those that are in Canada or know people that are struggling in Canada to try and get their hands on Zack Snyder's Justice League. In Canada, there's essentially 2 major providers, at least where I am in the province of Ontario. One is called Bell, one is called Rogers. Bell being the bigger of the 2, Bell being, the big boy on the block. If you subscribe to their streaming service called Crave, that enables you to get HBO and the HBO channels that are regularly available in the United States. And it's there. And you just simply have to go in like you were to be renting a movie. However, it's free. And
cool.
You can do it that way. And not only that, now the movie itself is actually in regular rotation on HBO, essentially once or twice a day. And it all depends what time zone you're in. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
it's readily
accessible.
available. And not only that, the trailer is still readily being promoted in commercials by both service providers, both Bell and Rogers, on regular channels. So
now,
yeah,
have you checked if the Justice's Gray edition is available as well now?
Not yet. Not yet. We still have the full color.
Drops. I'm not saying commit to another 4-hour thing or make plans for it, but at least go hit up some of those cooler action scenes like the old gods fighting in the final battle, and just some of your more memorable scenes for you. Go check them out. It's wild. It looks really cool. Your eyes go to different focal points on it, and you start noticing little things that you didn't realize were there.
Very good.
PJ King, WB won't kick Abrams off Superman. Abrams is the Theo Epstein of the movie franchise. Yeah, he's a bad dude. He doesn't, he's done some great stuff. He has a good production company. They're capable of doing some decent stuff. They made Hancock.
Thank you.
Yeah, I loved Hancock, dude. That movie was so
Did
fun.
you?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Will Smith's best smile was in Hancock. I'll give you that.
Watching him and Charlize Theron when he threw the weight, actually hit the sailboat, man. Come on.
Yeah. It was a fun movie. I'm not sold 100% on J.J. Abrams. I liked what he did with The Force Awakens.
Star Trek, dude.
Yeah.
The first Star Trek reboot was phenomenal.
Yeah. Again, that's why we have chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, right? It's to each their own. I really enjoyed what he did with The Force Awakens. Didn't like what happened with his third entry into Star Wars. I thought it was rushed, but that's just me. Again, yeah, the first Star Trek, really cool. It was an interesting take. I like that he tried to bring other films and put them all in, or give a little taste of all the former films, throw it in there for a taste. I liked the casting, especially the casting of Kirk with Chris Pine. I thought he was a very good Kirk.
Quinto just looks like a young Spock to me.
Yep. Yeah, it's almost
Now, I will
uncanny.
say this:
Yeah.
after watching what JJ and Henry did when they wrote a comic, I don't think that they need to write anything that has to do with a superhero. Now, just putting their director lenses on, I don't, I can't really say that. As long as they're not writing it, I think it would be a better shot. And just to touch on this wheelchair superhero 87, we'll definitely we'll talk about it before we get into actually the new stuff, the new movie content or show content. That'll be after we talk about some comics coming up right in just a minute. We don't want anyone to get any unintentional spoilers here. Are you talking about J.J. Abrams or Donnie Cates? Oh, it says J.J. Abrams has great starts, terrible at finishing things. That's a lot across the board with a lot of writers and a lot of stuff, and I think that's heavily not the writer's fault. A lot of times, it might just be the natural hype that comes with our own expectations, But that being said, sometimes people just aren't good at writing an ending. But there's definitely a mixture. Like Jeff Johns wrote a fantastic story with 3 Jokers. I hated the ending. I kind of hated the middle too, because my expectations were over here, and he wrote a fantastic story over here. Like
I thought the first issue was great.
it was amazing.
On all levels, even the artwork. I thought it fired on all levels, and then it was just a slow decline.
Yeah, I was expecting a cosmic level story explaining why there's 3 actual Jokers, not Joker and 2 civilians that had been poisoned. But whatever, it was still a great follow up to the Killing Joke, and for that, which I had no coming, there were some plot holes there at the end. Felt a little rushed, but I don't want to get into that. I beat that horse to death, and then I beat it to death again. You want to talk some new books?
I was going to say, speaking of horses, let's get right into what your hot pick was last week.
What was it?
Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray. Oh yeah, I should have known that with horses.
Yeah, I tried to set it up for you, man.
Yeah.
I tried to set it up.
Yeah, I just watched that hot pick video right before, so I was completely thrown off. There we go. So we got the same cover there. Now,
Yeah.
Daniel Warren Johnson did do another cover, which was an homage to his first appearance, but I don't think that was just a regular shelf copy. I don't know. My LCS looked it up, and it didn't look like it was a regular one. So I just went with the only Daniel Warren Johnson available to me.
Yeah, I think I do believe that it was in the United States, I believe it was a Frankie's exclusive.
Okay. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm not on Facebook enough anymore to catch stuff like that. 'Cause I used to get stuff from them, not a lot, but, when like the Crane Maestro came out, I got a couple of Jane books from whatever.
What book did you just say?
You heard me.
Yeah.
The Clayton Crane Maestro.
Yeah.
Maestro.
I enjoyed Maestro. But I'm not on Facebook, but I get their email blast because Frankie's in the United States shares their exclusives with generally 2 different companies in Canada. So if there's a cover that I see, I generally try to hit up one or the other to see which one is going to be carrying that specific variant.
Specs, real quick, let me know if you're talking about the finale to the Batman White Knight presents Harley Quinn or not. But so what did you think of Beta Ray Bill issue number 1?
I thought it was great.
I agree.
I wouldn't have bought it, to be honest, if you didn't recommend it. So I picked it up and I quickly went through it Wednesday, and then I took another sit down while my phone was charging for this and went through it again. And I thought it was really good. It delivered everywhere. Like if they wanted to call it nonstop Beta Ray Bill,
Oh,
I would have been like,
good.
yeah, I thought
Yeah,
it
that
was
would've
good
fit.
action.
So
I
do want to point out this is not a King in Black tie-in. Fing Fang Foom is nullified just because of current events going on across the universe, but this is in
Yes.
no way meant to be a tie-in. It would have made no sense if you had Fing Fang Foom there and he wasn't.
Yeah.
Under control, but so that wasn't necessarily heavy into the story either.
I was gonna say, Rami there, he's right. The Walt Simonson cover
Was awesome.
Was fantastic, and I'm glad that he didn't do like an homage to his own original Beta Ray Bill cover. I'm glad that he went freestyle and came up with something new, and it was actually one of my favorites. Yeah, but
now, Daniel Warren Johnson is such a fantastic writer artist. He does his own writing, his own coloring, his writing, drawing, coloring, all that, and he has a very unique style that I put him in a category with, in my mind, this is just me, like he falls in there with Frank Miller and Kevin Eastman. It's rough around the edges. It's not fine line work, and it's just the colors he uses are fantastic. The book was nonstop, so you get Beta Ray Bill defending Asgard as their main warrior that leads all the armies, and Thor's away at the moment dealing with the stuff on Earth, and big dragon attacks, and he's fighting it, and he's not holding his own too well, and
Nope.
he's really trying to establish himself since Odin gave him Stormbreaker, Thor broke Stormbreaker, so he's stuck he's not able to turn back to his normal self. He's stuck in the cybernetic horse body that he turns into on command, and he's lost. And him and Sif kind of have a romantic kindling, but he's not able to transform back so that they can really share each other in their normal form. And she's uncomfortable, he's uncomfortable with himself. So he's literally lost on every level. And they kind of bring Thor in and kind of make him like a goof a little bit. Like he doesn't understand what's going on or why Bill would even be upset. And that was just another little area of contention for him to just set off. He's leaving Asgard to go find himself. And Daniel Warren Johnson is great at writing very personal, in-depth stories, just character focuses. He did it with Murder Falcon, Wonder Woman. Can't wait for this.
I enjoyed the slow origin that they were giving us through the first couple of pages, and then a little bit in the middle and close to the end there, where we're talking about Beta Ray as a child and him being chosen. I enjoyed that aspect of it. I like the fact that they kind of presented Thor as a jerk, you know, like Bill letting him know, like, hey man, like everything that went wrong is because of you. Like you had to break Stormbreaker, and then Lady Sif gives him an opportunity to head back to back to her room, and because of the fact that he doesn't have Stormbreaker, Thor kind of blocked him. You know what I mean? And it just your heart breaks for the guy.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. It was a good launching pad for those that haven't picked it up. Go grab it. It's actually a real good book. And again, like Mark said, Johnson adds his own flavor to this, and I'm glad that Marvel let him basically, run the shoot with this and let him have complete control. And with issue 1, it's paid off.
Do you think that this book should have maybe waited till after next week with the finale of King in Black, with Thor's return in this to Asgard? Kind of a mild spoiler, isn't it? But having Fin Fang Foom still nullified, so it's kind of a universal continuity plot hole.
My thought was, okay, so Foom somehow has survived what happened on Earth, and by the way, like quick shout out to the fact that they have Galactus's helmet right there as well.
His head falls down.
And the whole continuity. I did think, okay, well, Thor looks perfectly fine. I guess what happens to King of Black, whatever happens, Thor turns out to be fine. But Foom is still on the loose and shows up in Asgard. And maybe this is the reason why Thor drops in at the final moment, even though Asgard's getting their rear end handed to him really fast, by the way, by Fin Fang Foom. But the whole King of Black tie-in, I don't think it's a tie-in. It didn't really bother me that much because it's no big secret what's going to happen in issue 5 of King of Black, right?
Yeah. I actually I caught the Economics and Comics did a spoiler for it.
Oh, okay.
And I really don't care about it enough to wait. You know what I mean? I'm not invested in it. Like I'm definitely planning on reading it, whatever. I'm going to pick it up. But I'm not heavily invested into the story. I've been calling it since day one that this is just a throwaway, that it's all just overhyped. I said after the first issue, I said everyone needs to sell their Null and their Dylan books. If you're a seller, if you're a collector, don't hang on to them. See what happens to them in the long term. But if you're just a short term reader, seller, you don't really try to hold on to all your books. You don't have the space for it for whatever reason. You just buy them, try to get rid of them to buy more, whatever your reason. Got to sell those quick.
I agree on the Dylan aspect. If you got it and you picked it up, you picked up a 9.8 or whatever, or a variant 9.8 for spec, now's your time. Personally, I see Null down the road entering into that Sony universe with the whole Venom thing. I could see them trying to do a little bit of a Thanos ripoff, or at least teasing the idea that there is a god of the symbiotes. And if we get Carnage and they talk about the fact that there's something else out there, we know that the Null spec is going to go right back through the roof the way that we were witnessing it basically 12 months ago. but to each their own.
Yeah, and I think that I don't think Donny Cates will really care to continue doing too much with Noel anytime soon. But you never know what the writers that come behind him might want to do or not want to do. And
Right.
what's going on, Robert? We got Flash 6792 here. But yeah, overall, I'm excited for it to be over with. Not necessarily for it to be done, but I'm just excited to see how they're going to play it out. You know, excited to see the next chapter of Eddie Brock's life, all that good stuff. And I don't think I have another Marvel book from this week unless I just have my stack misplaced.
The only other book I picked up from Marvel was actually Cap, and that was a cover grab again.
Oh, that was a gorgeous cover too.
Again, I'll bring it up right here. Alex Ross again is just like I don't think there's a better modern better modern Captain America artist than Alex Ross.
I don't think there's a better modern artist than Alex Ross. And you said it best in your video, your new comic day video. He's in a league by himself. Like it's not even fair to compare him to anybody else. Like I know another great famous comic painter is Jusco, but their styles are so different, so can't even compare them.
Yeah. And again, the flavor that Alex Ross always seems to touch on, where he's bringing back ideas from the Golden Age, the Silver Age. It's incredible. Again, he's in a league by himself, and the fact he does it all freehand too, that it's not that is not computer work, or at least the stuff that I've witnessed in his videos. But yeah, again, this is just gorgeous. Sorry about the glare, everybody.
Oh, it's all good.
But yeah, Captain America 28. I've been picking up this run based on the covers alone. I have gone through a couple. Story's okay, a little predictable here and there, but again, Cap is Cap, and he translates beautifully at the hand of Alex Ross.
Talking to Tyler from Whack Comics.
All right.
He had messaged me earlier. He's off for a few run-up days. What is going on? Nelvis Eats. So what do you got next? So you had Cap. How was Cap? I haven't been following Cap.
I haven't gotten into this issue yet. I will let you know.
Okay, sounds good. Now I do have a couple of issues from this week I haven't read, so I'm going to go ahead and show you those real quick. But I still haven't read Power Rangers Unlimited and had early access to this issue. And I just, we talked about at the beginning, life be crazy sometimes. But another one I'm excited for is the other history of the DC Universe. Got Katana issue.
Yeah,
I love that first issue. I have the original history of the DC Universe from the 80s, that 2-issue event they did.
Yep.
But these have been really cool. I wasn't a big fan of the second one just because they I feel like they went out of their way to do a lot of character assassination against the Teen Titans and against Superman that wasn't necessarily warranted. But that's just me. And I'm really excited for this one. I'm not giving up on it. The whole issue wasn't garbage. They just kind of leaned way heavy into the Teen Titans, I felt. But I don't know. It can be justified.
I just finished this evening doing reading Image's Shadecraft issue number 1. This is the Jock cover, and it was okay. I'm sure you know a little bit about the premise. Have you read it yet?
I hadn't read it. I didn't pick it up. I just know that she's followed by a monstrous shadow that turns out to be her dead brother or something.
Boom! There it is. So the first couple pages, this young girl is walking with a high school friend of hers. So she decides to try and give him a kiss or whatever, and he's not really receptive. So she runs away, and as she runs away, she gets close to home. She starts getting attacked by her own shadow, and then there's more. Congratulations, Jimmy. Yeah. Congratulations, sir.
I've never seen so much luck in one spot at one time. That was
awesome. The best part is when Jimmy corrects Jay and says, by the way, he bet all his points. You need to put that goose egg up there for everyone to see. Legendary way to drive it home, Jimmy. But so quickly she starts getting attacked near home by her own shadow and other shadows that join in on the battle. And how she's saved, her mom flicks on the porch light. The next scene is basically she's at school and she's telling her friends about the whole idea of it, and she confronts the young guy she tried to give a kiss to, and next thing you know, she's getting bullied by some other people pretending to be shadows, and and then she's off on her own again, and she has an argument at home, being a stubborn teenager, and she runs out into the woods. Always the best thing to do in the middle of the night
Yeah,
is run out
safest
into
place I can think.
run out into the woods, not the
Yeah.
forest, but the woods, and runs out into the woods, and of course she gets attacked. And as she's getting swallowed up by these shadows, all of a sudden she's smart enough to flick on her cell phone light, defeats the shadows. But yeah, one shadow sticks around, and Mark, guess who that shadow is?
Her brother.
Her brother.
No, was he attacking her or trying to protect her?
He was trying to help her, but in the end, they started communicating, and then they embraced, and they said, "Get ready for issue 2."
Oh,
So
cool.
I'll give it a go. I'll be honest. I know that on the spec market, it's now a $10 book.
Yeah,
So I
there was
get
an announcement about an animated show for it or something on Netflix before it
right.
even dropped. Yeah.
I can looking at the artwork on the inside, which is actually really nice. I can see how they want to adapt those into visuals, but we'll see what happens. It was predictable, but then again, we may have a curveball come issue 2, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. It did have a little bit of flavor, if the temporary flavor of horror books, like Something is Killing the Children and Department of Truth. With stuff being a little bit more sinister than what they need to be, but it is what it is. So yeah, let's talk about what my hot pick was last week. Yeah, let's talk about what my hot pick was. What did you think?
Loved it. Absolutely.
Did you?
Yeah, it reminded me of the specific season of American Horror Story and that amazing ending to Asylum when the aliens actually showed up for the dude.
One of my favorite parts was actually Lee Harvey Oswald, picking on Doc Hines for wearing a tinfoil hat. I thought that was hilarious. And then he basically said, "You know who I am?" And Doc Hines looked at him and says, "The entire world knows who you are."
Yeah,
brother.
What is up, Tyler?
But yeah,
I hate it when I sneeze. Allergies are killing me.
Bless you. But when Doc Hines starts to talk about his little bit of an origin story and his encounter with his alien in his own house, which by the way was kind of haunting, how the alien was kind of teasing him, with the phone call. I thought it was
trippy.
Really damn good. And again, this is what Tynan does. It's really damn good. When are we going to get that in the franchise? But anyways, again, indie Tynan, James Tynan is different from big boy, or pardon me, big publisher Tynan. But again, Department of Truth, boom, delivered.
I thought it was cool because like that last issue 6, they took it back to the origins with the church and everything, and it seemed out of context and out of the blue. But if you go back to issue 5, it ended with the flashback of Lee Harvey Oswald getting sent to the records room, being told to read everything to figure out everything you can. So they brought it back in this issue. In this issue, that's where it is. That's why we had that flashback issue. That's why we're having this issue. And now you can tell from the cover reveal for the next one, we're getting right back into the story with the next one. But
and
Tyler,
I like that.
What's up, brother?
Yeah.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm good.
Fantastic game show tonight, by the way.
Oh yeah, it was a blast. We ended up going on at the same time as Rigged, I think. So maybe you guys could, if you watched Rigged, go check it out. But it was on Simple Simon's channel. It was a blast. It was a really close match.
It was for a while.
What do you mean?
But it was cool. Was that an actual card game?
Yeah, I guess so. He just got it. It was a bunch of MCU questions. I struggled with some, and some I did really well.
Now, Pocan Joe there, whenever I see him, I like to mention it. One of the best Friday night shows. Well, my favorite Friday night show on YouTube, Blast and the Fashion Comics. It's absolutely fantastic. And I just started kind of tinkering around on Pocan Joe's channel. He has a Secret Lair series that he does where he's in his workshop making stuff, and he made legit Wolverine claws and even put the little sparker on them so they spark when he slides them together.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, y'all need to go check that guy out. He's hilarious, super smart, and he fancies himself a philosophizer. And one day I shall talk to him.
Yeah. My goal is one day to be interviewed by Jimmy on his channel. That's when you know you made it on YouTube. When
Oh, and I haven't
when
made it.
Small Towns Collectibles
No,
brings
you
you up.
haven't.
No, it
Nope.
seems lately it seems to be the 1,000 sub club to get on his channel. But he does good work though.
It was controversial, Lee.
A little bit.
Not really. I lost. Yeah, well, hopefully one day we can get on there too, me and Lee. I love that every week, the interview with Jimmy Don. It's such a great one.
Mm-hmm.
You read Department of Truth, Tyler?
Yeah, I did. I read it this week. So I haven't really liked Department of Truth, but this I thought this issue was fantastic. I know you guys have liked Department of Truth so far, but didn't this one feel better?
Absolutely.
This is more of what I wanted. I wanted like a little more focus, just a little bit more story, just a little bit more character. We got all of that. Like this feels like hinting towards something bigger now. And before I just felt like they were just hinting at general stuff.
What I loved is, for one, it almost feels like it hit an anthology level because we had 2 back-to-back issues just spotlighting 2 specific kind of personal stories that tell a self-contained story, but obviously play to a much bigger conspiracy itself, you know?
Right.
But when he was sitting in the diner in that flashback talking to the government agent, and the government agent was speaking to him like he was crazy the whole time, and then he gets up and he hands him his card. He says, "If you ever actually find him, just leave a message. I'll find you." Like he already knew everything that the kid was saying. He was just he was feeling him out basically. I'm like, oh my god, Agum G-Man.
Yeah, that was so cool. I thought we're spoiling, right? Yeah, obviously
this is our spoiler.
I watch every week, like I need to ask or something. So I'm usually the person in the chat bothering you guys. So the part with the alien, just like at the end, that felt like it was literally from a nightmare I've had like 1,000 times. Like they literally like went into my brain and said, like, remember that? That was this
the way
red,
that they drew him. They drew him off the floor the way he was just barely off the floor. I caught it in the first panel and it just creeped me out. Like, and I don't know what it was. I guess I was into the book because I was following the panels heavy. I wasn't like looking at the page, you know?
Yeah.
And when I saw him foot, I'm like, oh my God. Then I switched to the next panel. It's a close up on his foot. I'm like, gee, I could feel how tense that moment was in the book. It was just done so well.
Even Tyler, I was gonna say Tyler Boss really did great work with the interiors for this issue, and you could literally, for me, Doc Hines looking at him, you could almost feel like you could feel the horror he's going through. You feel bad for him, like because you could tell he's in some serious agony. But sorry, go ahead, brother.
The shot of the sky where you like just see kind of like a blank sky, but something's there, and then you see a little better of the alien ship. Like, man, this is creepy. Maybe they were going for this vibe before, but it didn't really creep me out because I wasn't into it. But this issue pulled me into it. It's like issue 3 because I thought issue 3 was the best one. That one really pulled me in, and this one pulled me in like the same.
Now, issue 3 was the school shooting one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was terrifying. And so was this one. It's like terrifying on 2 different, completely like one realistic, one maybe realistic, but no one knows levels of the Department of Truth that I really wanted.
I think that's something that might play well for this series overall is depending on your level of interest in conspiracies, they're going to have issues that just really play for specific people heavier than others. You know, if you just enjoy conspiracies and you're familiar with so many of these, you're going to get more out of them, obviously. More enjoyment, but every now and then they're just going to really hit one that is like close to home. If you have had any experiences or spend any time talking to people or know anybody, if you know someone that claims alien abductions, obviously, or if you yourself feel like you've had an experience with something you couldn't explain, there's going to be an issue that's going to hit close to home. You know.
Well said.
Yeah, we're trying to get abducted for a whack episode right now.
That's not a bad idea. You should try that mailbox out of her that it's a popular spot.
Yeah.
Well, what else did you read this week? Let's see if you have any crisscross titles with us. Tyler?
You want me to say what I read?
Yeah. What did you read?
Did you talk about Strange Adventures already?
Not yet. I have it in my hand though. Glad you mentioned it. I also have that in my hand. Ready for both of you.
I read both of those.
All right, well, shoot the crossover first, because I know all 3 of us have it ready. Go ahead. What'd you think?
I didn't really like it.
You didn't care for this issue?
No, I'm just like fully kind of not into crossover. It just seems like Cates wrote a love letter to himself and he's having a good time. And I don't necessarily think it's bad. Like, it's not bad writing. The characters are somewhat interesting, but I'm not interested. Like, he didn't make me interested. He just is writing it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I like Cates that much anyway. He's making me like him less and less.
Now I love the first issue, the second issue. It all just kind of has steadily been going downhill for me. And I
Yep.
said the same thing you did just then, like how he wrote this story for him to enjoy by himself. And I know there's people like Lee who's read like a lot of his other stuff, so he's catching all the little details. But me, even not even having all the little details, I actually enjoyed this issue because I feel like we're kind of firing up to something. It felt like a great lead-in to a big battle that I don't really need to know anything more about other than sit back and enjoy with the characters I've been introduced to. We finally see Orion pull the gun out. We see Madman running around with that big sword, all sword, whatever. Then he hands it to Ellie. So it's just seems like it was a setup issue. So it got me a little hype at the end, And there was that little touching moment when they got the sword and she said, "Don't you need it? I know what it means to you," referring back to God Country, which you guys explained to me. And so I caught the relevance of that. And when she said, "No, he's just a story now," basically like stories never die. I thought that was cool, So I was able to catch a couple of the references just from speaking with you and Lee. So that was cool. And like I said, it was just a good hype issue for me. So it made me feel safe with picking up issue 6. And if they round off the first story arc, I think I might just cut it there. But I don't know, with my luck, then they'll start like reaching out past Donny Cates stories, and start doing real crossover stuff.
Yeah.
I was a victim of the hype. Like big time. I was, I thought about how many issue 1 variants can I collect here? Like, and again, like when we had Todd do a cover as well, especially with Todd doing the cover and then doing the throwing up some important key issues in the history of Image Comics where Ellie was reading them. I believe that might have been issue 2 or issue 3. And before that was hyped even before I think issue 1 hit the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was sold that this is going to be a masterpiece. This is going to be, Cates at his finest.
Yeah,
because I actually enjoy his Thor. And it hasn't been a steady decline for me. It's just been flat. Again, like was just mentioned earlier, it's a love letter to himself. It's just like, this is my ego, and we're gonna flex the hell out of what I've done. And again, Mark, you touched on it earlier. Like, I'm probably gonna pick up the next issue if there's a sexy cover, or maybe if his wife does a regular cover, who actually does good work as well, Megan Hutchinson.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll pick it up. And then that'll be it. And then, of course, watch issues 7 or 8. That's where we're going to get the Savage Dragon. That's where we're finally going to get one of the spawns. Or that's, like, again, but who knows? Because, again, those are licensed properties, right?
I never thought about that. We don't necessarily even need to see Al Simmons. Like, at this point, who knows what Spawn could show up. And what a great idea to really hype up Spawn's universe that's coming.
Throw one of them into this. But, again, I just...
what if this starts that universe? What if their Image is really doing something original and creative? What if they spawn that universe out of something in this series? I mean,
they should be. Why wouldn't that'd be great?
I never thought about that. And it's definitely not likely. It's too smart of an idea for someone to do.
It could be such a small Easter egg. It'd be so easy to do.
Yeah, and if they are going to do that, they need to tell us now.
Yeah, exactly.
They need to plant that seed a little bit, at least, where at least Donnie throws up, the Spawn logo, or Todd talks about crossover again, or something, or give us another, or if Todd's doing a cover, let us see it. But again,
hang in there, Dan.
Don't blame me. I voted for Kudos, but yeah, I'm struggling with it. With crossover again.
We're talking about
Again, this
crossovers
was
making me feel like
a
I'm wearing
pretty
a wet
original
blanket.
cover. Like this was a pretty original cover. I'll give them
Eh.
that. But
It looks like it should have been inside the comic, like when you turn the
But,
page
yeah.
on issue on page
you know,
like 3.
other than the Mystery Machine being on the cover, I thought it was pretty good. But like the story is like he like you mentioned earlier, it's a love letter to himself. And
Let's take the wet
if you're not
blanket off.
privy, if you're not privy to what he's done before in his in his solo stuff outside of Marvel DC, then you may not know what's actually or what the Easter eggs or the references are too.
No. Enough with
Yeah.
crossover. It's making me sad.
Well, I just one more thing. I think
Christ.
like the potential for crossover was like 100
Oh,
because we're talking just give me one BA character that's just like Erica Slaughter, just awesome character, and then the crossover. I don't think that it needed to be much deeper than that. Just give me something to latch onto and some fun crossover stuff. Like it didn't even need to be a deep, really story or anything, and it's like not giving me any of that.
They're still trying to balance like seven plot threads at one time and haven't flushed out a single one yet. And I don't want to.
Yeah, but why? Like I don't need it. I just one plot thread. Hey, there's this. Let's go in here and let's stop it from happening. Like that's really all we
being
need.
Serious,
right?
We just need to get the next season of We Live. That's what we need.
Yeah, no kidding.
Something is killing the children.
We Live.
I don't know where that is.
Strange Adventures. I know Tyler's picking this up. Chris, have you been picking up Strange Adventures?
I have not.
And for everybody, real quick, who did not pick up We Live when it came out, shame on you. I talked about it every time it came out. But I do have a complete run right here that is part of the 600 subscriber giveaway. This is probably this is the best individual. It's a 5-issue full story. And it's an entire season 1 of the story. There will be more coming down the road.
I need to win that. Have they released a date yet for the trade for that? Do you know of? Okay.
Not yet. I'll be on the lookout. I'll be grabbing one.
Yeah. All the LCSs in my vicinity either didn't pick it up or sold out instantly. So I think the best way for me to be able to pick it up or read it at least is going to go ahead and wait for the trade and pick up the trade.
Tyler, did you use a slab?
Yes, I can't find my We Live slab. I'm so confused. Like, what happened?
It has a variant in 9.8, and you can't find it.
What the heck? It's gone forever.
It crossed over, man. It crossed over.
It hurt us.
I'm so confused right now. I've never had this happen before.
I feel bad for you.
Is that it? No, I don't know. That's
you weird. got that Grail book of yours back and just stopped caring about the rest.
I guess so.
All right. What did you think of Strange Adventures?
It was amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the first 7 issues I thought were well written, 100 out of 10 drawn. It's the best art ever you could ever imagine. And then we get 2 different artists, so it's 2 different times. The flashbacks are one and the current is Gerard's, and that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And the plot that we learned last issue kind of is more revealed, and that was insane.
Oh, savage. Yeah, absolutely savage.
Insane.
He just completely decides to commit genocide pretty much.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do spoilers. I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah, no spoilers. So in the flash, it's in the current timeline, in present day, Adam is being investigated for murder of pretty much a heckler at a book signing, for him committing war crimes and atrocities back on Rand during these wars against the Pict. And there's questions about the circumstances of his daughter's death. There's questions about how he conducted himself in war. And in the meantime, while all this was going on, the Pict start to invade Earth. So you're getting the current timeline as well as a build up to those accused atrocities during the war against the Pict. So now in the last issue, we find out that he did kill this guy. And we also find out that he did commit what some would perceive as war crimes. And because this is Tom King and it's amazingly deep writing, it's all about your perception. Because what these people are considering war crimes or genocide against these people, this was a war-ridden savage race of just brutal murderers that were just killing everyone. And at the moment, supposedly killed his daughter, and he just put an end to it. He absolutely put an end to it. He teamed up with these people that live on Rand, another race that they don't normally get along, and they teamed up and they took out the pick. They found their stronghold. They gassed them when they were all running out. They just dropped them into the earth and then went down there and just cleared out whoever was left.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
They were all like escaping, and Adam was like, "Should we let them get away?" Like, and his wife goes, "Jokes aren't funny right now, Adam." And then they just drop them all and kill them all.
The
like,
ground
whoa.
opens up and they just drop them. And then you see Adam walking through the splattered bodies with the other remnants of that other race, just checking for survivors to take out, pretty much. But it was awesome. And then the ending, it was a great cliffhanger ending, as always. For one, Mr. Miracle was listening to them kind of on the news. Adam's wife was talking on the news about all the evidence and that came out about this happening, and her like not being hiding about it. She's like, look, what y'all perceive as violent is someone else is completely different. We know what these people did. And in times of war, do you want somebody like the Justice League who's going to try to find a middle ground with them while they're slaughtering your family and killing your kids and having a whole incident happen that's just happened on Earth? Or do you want somebody who's going to stop them and protect you? So it was this really cool little perspective thing. You know, in times of war, you want a warrior. In times of peace, you don't need a warrior. It reminded me of what Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, when they're like, it's a peacetime, we don't need Jim Gordon anymore. You know, he was like a wartime commissioner. You know, we didn't need him, and that's how they were thinking. But it was fantastic. And at the end, Alana and Adam are laying in bed, and she was talking about how much she wants to see her daughter again, and she misses her. And Adam says something along the lines of, "Don't worry, there's other worlds out there." And like, what does that mean? What's happening?
Yep. Yeah, they're gonna try to get her from another universe or
Yeah,
go
he said,
to another
"Don't worry,
universe.
darling. We'll see her again. There is another world."
Yeah, I'm assuming they're gonna try to escape because like his like life is crumbling around him. People are finding stuff out, so they're just gonna try to escape. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's the best part about it is I don't know. And I've said it from Bat Cat starting. I've kind of defended Tom King's Maxi series stuff, Rorschach. Like people are like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. You're not supposed to know what's happening. That's kind of the point of a mystery book. You know, he writes a lot of stuff in the format of mysteries where you have to go on these journeys with the characters in the book, like find out in real time with Mr. Terrific or with Batman or with Catwoman, whoever. It has to unfold with the characters. You don't get more information than they have. And I enjoy that. I wouldn't want all my books to be like that, but when you have one or two, like out of a 10-book stack, that's perfect balance.
I almost think that maybe it would read better if it came out as a hardcover, like initially, kind of like Ed Brubaker does, just put it all out at once. Because not knowing and then just being able to continue and learn as you go, instead of waiting months to finally learn something 7 issues later.
Yeah, and it is 12 issues, and it's been coming out on time. So when it all wraps up, that's 1 year that you spent invested in this. Now, I did read all of Mr. Miracle in one go straight through.
I did too.
Oh my God, that was good.
Yep, I think it benefited from it too. Looking back, I didn't realize it when I was reading it, but I think if I would have read it in single issues, I would have been out of it after the first couple, just because I didn't know what was going on.
I'm kind of used to his format at this point. You know what I mean? After reading
them. That was really before I even knew Tom King, so I wasn't. That was one of the like early trades I ever read.
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, it was super interesting. I've said it before, but like at issue, I want to say it was around issue 5, I would just said to myself like, oh, this is like not this big universal story like I thought it was. I don't even need to know any of these people. This is literally just a family story. Yeah, that's all it is. It's about 3 people, him, his wife, and his kid.
It was amazing. And the Master of Escape, I thought that was such a, I know it's getting off topic of new books, but who cares? But I thought it was just such a cool concept to explore, like the Master of Escape attempting to cheat death, and was that his real strategy, or was he legit trying to commit suicide? And we, as a reader, we don't know what his motives were in that opening scene. What has he just been pushed that far that he just was done, or did he really want to push his limits that far to see how far he can go and come back? I just thought that was just such a fantastic avenue to take with such a cool character. I mean, just thinking of the way he's grown up and what he went through and the circumstances of his life, why would he still be trying to go on? Like, that's some kind of superhero resolve. That's his superpower, is just the ability to put his pants and his shoes on every day and get out the door. Like, it was such a cool thing to explore. Chris, did you read any of those?
No.
I was going to ask
sound-
the same thing. Yeah.
I was going to say, it sounds like I missed out on a lot. But when Strange Adventures, hits trade paperback, I'm going to definitely pick it up.
I'm
It's not
surprised
the
they didn't go ahead and collect the first 6 already, too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I've
Love you too, man.
heard nothing but praise for it. Was that your dad?
No, that's my best friend, Lee.
Oh, okay. And no, I've heard nothing but praise for it. And so when we get the trade, I'm going to pick it up. So what issue was the most recent? Was that 9?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have 3 more to go?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm excited for it then, but I'm going to hate to see it go. But I know that his next project, which is Supergirl, is going to be coming out soon, which he's excited to write, but he admittedly says that he doesn't necessarily like to write inside of continuity. His hands are too tied, and he can't write smoothly and freely like he normally does. He has to watch out for editorial because there's different restrictions and guidelines or certain words you can't use that aren't even cuss words and stuff. But he said that he really enjoys the Black Label stuff. He's able to sort of write his story, and it makes perfect sense. But I don't know why DC's pretending like they have different guidelines, because I read non-Black Label books too, and they really push it. And they sometimes they'll just put a little thing in here to say this is a cuss word, enter whatever one you want, which kind of makes it pointless to even do that. But oh well. Another one I picked up, I'm sure y'all didn't, was Future State Superman versus Imperious Lex. This is the finale to that. It's a Future State straggler, but I have not read that yet. I'll get to it hopefully before Tuesday.
Does it have a short story?
No. This one hasn't. It's just been straight up.
Okay.
It's been a cool story though. Yeah. Flash 768. Did y'all read this?
Sold out.
Oh wow, this was great.
Yeah.
Classic, great Flash goodness. We're time traveling. Wally pulls a Fred Flintstone, slides down a Brontosaurus's back.
Oh, really? Nice.
Really happy. And he actually references it like I had to do it, kind of thing. It was really cool. So just kind of giving everyone the up-to-date speed on what's going on with Flash. Like if you followed Death Metal and Infinite Frontier #0, you saw that the mantle is trying to be passed to Wally to be like the keeper of the watch station that has like all the heroes and villains that are working together in the new version of the Watchtower kind of thing, as well as Barry wanting to pass the mantle to him. Well, this starts with Wally saying, I'm still not right. I'm still not comfortable. I just need a break. I need to be with my wife and kids who I was away from for too long, that pretty much started all the bad things happening in his life, when he came back and they didn't. But he says he wants to give it up. And so him and Barry go running into the Speed Force so that he can transfer his powers to Barry, and he gets hit with a bolt of lightning that sends him through hyper time, and it sends Barry out of it powerless. So we're getting kind of that Barry we saw in Future State, where he's powerless, having to rely on science and his knowledge of the Speed Force to find Wally. And what it comes to happen is that it was the Speed Force itself reaching out to Wally because something is wrong with the Speed Force and it needs help. Like, it's not like it's sentient, like to that level, but there's an imbalance and it's trying to rebalance and self-correct. And that involved other speedsters losing their speed and Wally not. So I'm excited to see where it goes. It felt like just good old fashioned Flash goodness. And Wally's focal point. So I'm happy.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Last one that I picked up was Tom King's Batman Catwoman #4. This one was pretty straightforward. There was nothing huge adding to the plot. It was a little bit of just character development for the supporting cast and stuff. So definitely a good read, just nothing to write home about compared to the other 3. It was basically just a filler issue. So nothing bad, but it was cool. It was good.
Did you grab the B for that?
No. I'm sticking with straight A covers for that. I don't need the Jim Lees. They're fantastic, though.
Yeah.
You picked that one up, didn't you,
Me?
Chris?
No.
I know you're a Bermejo Batman down there.
I am very much a Lee Bermeo one. I did pick up this bad boy.
Oh, that was this
Uh,
week? Yeah, I already put those
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to get into it yet, but again, last issue on the shelf.
Oh, nice.
I haven't gotten into this yet, but I can't wait to.
Oh, that's a gorgeous cover too.
Yeah. Again, I've been preaching how good Spawn's been since issue 300. And I really think people should be picking these books up just on spec alone. It's like every so often he's just randomly throwing in a new Spawn. And yeah, Jim Lee is a master of his craft.
Fantastic. Except on his Snyder Cut cover, he did a horrible job.
Yeah. I picked up the second printing of a book that I plugged for Two Hot Guys? No, Two Cool Guys, Two Hot Picks. And yeah, and I picked up the second printing, and again, like Nocterra is just really, really good. Like you guys should, like those who haven't picked up this book, pick it up and read it. It's actually a real fun book. And to see Scott Snyder weave his own universe under the Image logo, it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah,
Anyone
Jeff
that was a
about to be doing that next week also.
Yep.
Jeff Johns got Geiger coming out. So yeah, I added that. It's Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, the dream team.
Yeah,
But,
I saw you talk about that. I love them working together.
Yeah.
Gary
So-
Frank's amazing.
He is. He's fantastic. But he's up there with Clayman in my book and Ivan Rees. They're built to draw superheroes in comics. They just can't ask for much better than that in interior art. But Batman Catwoman was good. I love Clayman's art. Tom King does a good job in illustrating how screwed up Batman Catwoman's relationship is. Really enjoying this maxi series. And I mentioned that before, and I think this is a must-read series for people who've been following Batman for any length of time, because a lot of people were upset with what happened with King's tenure on Batman. He stayed way longer than he expected and left way quicker than he expected, and the whole wedding thing getting canceled. This series, if for no other reason, really just kind of ties that off. You see all the mistrust, how dysfunctional, and how it would have never worked, and just reminded all these people, including myself, that kind of got lost in like, dude, these two are going to end up together. No, they have no business being together in any capacity other than just flirting on rooftops while he's trying to get the stolen jewels back from her. But yeah, I've been really enjoying it.
So I picked up a book that was released 2 weeks ago, and I haven't gotten into it, but I want to see if you guys did, and I want your opinion on it. That's Ultra Mega issue number 1. Yeah,
dude, I'm
it's
still waiting to read that. Not for any particular reason, but
yeah, the owner of the LCS that I hit up every Wednesday, he has it retailed for $10.78 Canadian, which is basically $9 US, whatever it is, and he gave me his own serious discount just to get this book in my hands. Said, read this book, you're gonna love it. So I haven't had a chance yet, and it's actually so nice being a square bound.
It is a really nice cover.
I'm really nervous actually about trying to crack it open. Maybe I'll see if I can get but I just wanted to see if you guys read it and what you thought, because I've heard some good things.
I've heard good stuff. My buddy Brent keeps asking if I've read it yet, but because it's an oversized issue number 1, it's kind of just taking the back burner. It's going to be put on the shelf with my Green Lantern trade I just picked up with this other history, and I'll just get to them when I get to them.
Yeah, I did read it. It was insane. It was just an insane book. Really gory and cool and kaiju filled and disgusting. It was not what I expected at all.
So
I definitely won't. I did like it. Like, I would so be down for this universe. Just like I want to know more after
now,
this.
do y'all ever watch E-Man's YouTube channel or listen to the C-List Villains podcast? He's one of the guys from there. But when it was coming out, he was talking about it, how he said he has no evidence for this, but he's seeing between like Big Girls, Ultra Mega, and he listed like 2 other books from Image. He's like, it looks like these people could easily cross over if they wanted them to. Like, they're all Jaegers and kaijus and oversized people. Like, it looks like they're building towards something.
No, I didn't. I didn't know that. I don't listen to them.
No, well, he didn't. It wasn't like he was revealing anything. It was just a pattern that he just noticed and kind of pointed out. And it was a good point. Like it's the book Big Girls, isn't that the name of it? About literally the giants.
Yep. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting. So I'm kind of keeping an eye out for more clues toward that.
And Kaiju Scores image as well, is it not?
Boom, I think, isn't it?
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I think it's
Yeah.
Boom. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, that's pretty much all the books I picked up. Y'all got any more that you want to mention or talk about?
Go ahead, Chris.
I think that's it for me. Again, the one that I really, really want to get into that I never had a chance to is Spawn 316. Again, I've been really, really into what Todd's been doing since 300. I'm really looking forward to the whole idea of a Spawn universe. And if they want to save crossover, give us a Spawn. Todd, if you're watching, give us a Spawn in crossover.
Yeah, if you're watching, I
it.
made it. Yeah, I've made it. There's one viewer and it's the Todd father. I'm good.
Apparently, he does sneak into random YouTube chats, live chats. He under, God knows whatever name, but it is known that he does pop into chats and just watches for a little bit. Good Canadian boy.
I know the Miranda brothers do, because when and it all makes perfect sense for creators when they have books coming out and they're wanting to see how it's being received. It's so easy for them just to go look how it's being received and see what people are saying about it. So I was surprised at the time to find out that the Miranda brothers had listened to me and New Guy talk about their stuff before we reached out to them.
Wow.
Yeah, that is super cool.
Yep.
But now it just seems like, I bet that's kind of just common practice for creators. Like I was inflated for a little while, but I popped my balloon. Like I gotta go back down. I gotta come back down.
Yeah, we watch all these idiots, not just
yeah, exactly.
The only other book I read this week was Shadecraft #1, and it's about like a young schoolgirl, I guess, middle school girl. She's being followed by like a scary shadow, and she doesn't know what it is, and her brother is like he not dead but close to dead, I guess is a good way to put it. And then we find out later that has to do with the shadow, but I don't want to like go into spoilers. It was good. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I was interested the whole time and definitely like want to keep reading it.
Yeah, I had heard you talk about it before on something.
But it was good.
And I spoiled it earlier in this show.
Oh, you did?
I did. The shadow was her brother.
Yeah.
Spoiler-filled show here. We got to really live up to it.
I gave a quick gloss over what it was. That the kiss, the bullying, the whole 9 yards, and fighting with the parents, and then instead of going to a buddy's house, she ran out into the woods. And,
that was interesting.
And then move. Her cell phone and her brother helped her out. So
it's like one of those stories that I enjoyed, but it's one I might forget when the second one comes out. Like, oh yeah, I did read that, because I always try to read #1s, but you can't read everything.
I thought there's potential there. I thought it was just okay, like okay to good. I mentioned if this turns into animation, I could see the visuals with the artwork that's in there. I can see the visuals that they want to lay out in the show, because we all know that it's been optioned. But it was just okay. I really hope that there's way more of the shadows and less of the teenage angst in issue 2.
Yep. Exactly.
Next segment. Y'all ready to talk some Falcon Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Episode 3 dropped this past Friday, and it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. I'm officially a villain after that episode because Zemo stole the show.
Oh, that mask. My God, the mask.
It was fantastic. Now, when I watch him put it on, I'm like, awesome. And then when I watch him take it off immediately, I'm like, okay, fan service. Thank you. And it made no sense to put it on just to shoot 2 people and take it off, but I'm glad he did it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
I really liked it. His action scene was really cool. I know he's like a meme now. That was cool.
Yeah, he
oh,
was.
yeah.
They really showcased a part of him that they talked about in Civil War and did not show, with him being special forces back from Sarkovia or wherever he was from,
Yep.
and he really went in how smooth he was and just operating through wherever he needed to be. Like
Yeah.
like all of his training show, they showcased every bit of it and how subtle it was. They didn't lean into it. They just delivered. He just executed
Yeah.
whatever he needed to do. It was really cool. Just everything about it was cool.
Yeah, they really highlighted the fact that he was highly decorated and that he hasn't missed a step being
Mhm.
incarcerated as long as what he was. And again, Agent 13 delivered as well.
Yes, and the
Yeah,
Sharon was a beast.
yeah, she held her own, and like I
She did
thought,
more than that. She murdered a lot
yeah,
of people.
she just like she was a one woman wrecking crew. Let's be honest. And
Yeah, she shot a
yeah,
lot of people right in the face at point blank range.
again,
Yeah, that was a cool shot.
John Wick, take notice. Like Agent 13
Yeah.
doesn't mess around either. Like she's not afraid to double tap. And again,
No.
the human shield part, that was that was awesome. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it too. Like I thought that this episode, argumentatively, it was the best one so far.
I don't think you
And
have to argue that. That's kind of like just what
yeah,
the pacing is where it's at. For this kind of show, just that nonstop pacing where globe trotting, you have
right.
so many just
Well,
different little seedy
I say
places and stuff.
I say that because in the last episode we got to see John Walker be able to do what he did on the two
That's
tractor
cool.
trailers, and that was a good action scene, especially with him manipulating the shield as well as what he's doing. I didn't know, but maybe you guys did, but I didn't know that this was only going to be 6 episodes. So I was a little disappointed to hear that it was 6. I thought it was going to be 10, like
Yeah,
Wanda
we're halfway
or
through.
not 9 or whatever. But yeah,
Well,
what WandaVision was.
in
But
defense
again,
of
like
that,
boom, it delivered.
in defense of that, these episodes are twice as long as what the
Yeah.
WandaVision episodes are. So we're
Mhm.
getting as much screen time in this
Right.
that we did in the WandaVision one.
Yeah.
Probably more.
And this is definitely cinematic, in my opinion. The way
Very.
it's being delivered. But yeah, they delivered when it came to promising action.
That was awesome when they go to get Zemo out, and the very first thing Zemo says to Bucky is mission report. He said that won't work on me anymore. He goes, I was just checking to see how good your head is. Zemo was ready. Yeah, Zemo was ready to get out of there. He was, let me try this out. Like it was really cool.
Like, I thought to myself,
Tyler, I know you were a big fan of the first episode. Did you like this one more than the first episode?
Yeah. The first episode was awful, but these next two were like a completely different show. I'm trying to get my wife to watch episode 2 and 3 and just skip episode 1, but she doesn't seem interested. We'll see what happens.
Well, I hope she does or doesn't. Either way.
Yeah,
As long as
maybe
you watch
eventually.
It.
She started rewatching WandaVision instead.
That was a bad idea.
Easy.
It's a good show. It's still just a bad idea. You know how far behind you'll be in content if you don't keep up with content?
Oh, but she doesn't care. She's not us.
Oh yeah. It's so crazy how important it can be to people like myself.
I know, yeah, I'm the same way. But not her. She didn't care. She's not watching us right now.
That's okay. I can't get my wife to watch my videos either. She just looked at me and smiled.
She hears it.
No, she hears me. She hears me talking, but she's great at like tuning that out when she needs to. This married life. That's a specific skill that you gain after being married for a certain period of time. You can somehow tune out what you don't need to hear, but you always hear when you need to hear something. Yeah, sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like if the kids cry, you can't hear that. Or chokes. Oh. So moving right along to Spotlight Tyler since he's here. Boom.
I'll pull it down. Here you go. Invincible #1 first print.
Oh,
9.8.
sweet Jesus.
Because
you got a 9.8 label.
9.8 label, even though it's definitely not a 9.8. Shout out to CGC.
Yeah, tell us about that one.
Shout out to the Monday morning crew, eh?
Yep. Yeah, there's a color breaking spine tick right here. I'm sure I won't be able to get it on screen. Oh yeah, right there. You can see
There
it.
it is.
Yep.
There it is.
You can't
Yep.
see it super well, but oh look,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, you
Wow.
sure can.
Wow.
Did you get
It's
that pressed first?
did I what?
Did you get it clean and pressed first?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I got it, and I saw there was a small color breaking spine take. It doesn't break a lot of color, and then the upper right corner was dog-eared and pushed down. So I literally just pushed it up before, like I was crossing my fingers for a 9.4.
Wow.
The universe felt that.
Yeah.
Yep. It's pretty crazy considering how much it goes for at a 9.8 now too. It's like, what just happened? But anyways, Invincible. Are you watching Invincible?
Yeah, we're all up to speed on Invincible.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Invincible's amazing.
Thank you.
Incredible.
That was Tyler's
Yeah.
take on Invincible, episode 3.
Well, I don't know. It's like they're going a little bit out of order of the comics, and we're learning a lot, but we have a lot of questions, a ton of questions. Like robots helping the Mauler twin somehow in the previous episode escape, but we don't really know why. And then we know what's his name.
What's the government agency guy's
Yeah,
name?
the government guy's name.
Scarface. He
Nick Fury?
excised the demon. Yeah, Nick Fury excised
The Nick Fury and the
demon.
Hellboy combination there. Yeah.
Yeah, Cecil Stasny.
Cecil. Yes, Cecil.
He's
So we did
helping.
find out that he's completely aware of what's going on with Omni-Man, that he knows that he killed
Yeah.
he knows that. All right, so Nick Fury knows that Superman killed the Justice League, so he had to get rid of Hellboy
Right.
before Hellboy blew the lid on it.
Yeah,
It's easier to remember their analogs than their real names. There's a lot of characters, man. There's a lot of characters in a short period of time.
Demon Detective.
Even I feel like that's pretty straightforward. I should be able to remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler, there's one
And
for
the
you.
Guardians. Yeah.
I don't think it's very different. They're kind of moving the plot along, the robot plot especially. That comes in way later in the comics, and now it's just like fully up front. Robot's up to something because he touches Rex on the shoulder and gets a blood sample, but we don't know why. And then at the end, we see him talking to somebody and say phase 1 is beginning. We don't know why. I mean, I know why, but you guys don't.
We don't know why. Yeah.
No idea.
I thought it
Yeah.
was cool that we had the first appearance of Starro in this episode.
Starro and the many children of Starro. But yeah, I thought it was fantastic. Again, like right from the get-go, this has been a fantastic series. Like, and I purposely tried to avoid the whole of trying to get any backstory about Invincible because I just wanted to be strictly entertained. Like everything that's out there, even with the boys, I know a little bit of it. I know the subplots. I know what happens in certain issues. But with Invincible, I walked in blind, and I'm really thankful I did because it's just been entertaining right from the get-go. And like they said, "Oh, we're gonna go to Mars." I'm like, "We're gonna go to Mars this episode? Like that's great. Let's do it." And yeah, like and he packed a lunch. So God bless him for packing a lunch to go to Mars.
It didn't really work out. Now there was a lot more to this episode, even though it seemed like the pacing kind of slowed down a little bit, and they kind of sent him on like a MacGuffin mission. But they did come back with one of the Starros, so that is going to be like a little like just one off maybe later, or maybe it's a big deal. I don't know. But we kind of get to see Omni-Man with his wife more, kind of just chilling and kind of see a little bit of different side of him kind of shining through, where he's like not keeping his composure with his wife in a couple of scenes. And I don't know, you're just kind of seeing some of the facade come down. We find out that Cecil knows, and so some puzzle pieces are starting to come apart.
I find it fascinating to quickly see they're building a rogues gallery that we're going to have to deal with further down the line. And I'm glad to see it's not just one episode. We got a new villain, kill the villain. I like the fact that something's happening and we're going to have to revisit it and then revisit it and revisit this one later on. So for me, it's 10 out of 10 so far.
Yeah. Now I didn't go seeking out any additional information for Invincible because I just didn't really didn't really have a desire to, and I didn't have any real expectations for this. I knew I'd watch it, hope for the best. Don't really have any expectations, but I've absolutely enjoyed it. I look forward to it every Friday.
But
But yeah,
I
dude,
I have seen
that's a major score to have right there.
I have seen some of the later issues, 1 through 10, and I see 1 through 13. They're starting to heat up on the secondary market now because we all know Invincible 1, which Ty just showed there. It's quickly becoming a grail. Like it's getting out of hand what the price is
It's
on
out of
issue
hand.
number 1 in the
Yeah,
9/8.
it's
Like
crazy now.
and I thought originally when I saw that it was four figures, I thought, my God, this book must have a cult following that I am totally not aware of.
Tyler's big
And
into cults.
Yeah, I do like Colts.
I like watching about cults on Netflix, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm fascinated to watch that now. Later issues are starting to heat up too, the same way what happened with The Walking Dead, 12, 13 years ago.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously it's a 144 issue series, so there's a lot of characters that are still yet to be introduced, and
Yeah.
They haven't,
I'm
like,
so interested to see where it'll go just
Yeah.
from here because we have so many plots. We've got the thing from Mars coming back. We've got
Yep.
Robot. We've got Omni-Man, which we still from episode 1 don't know what's exactly going to happen with Omni-Man.
See,
All
and
at the
I'm
same
asking
time.
about that right now. Are they saying Omni-Man's evil? But they haven't really gotten into it in the show. My prediction is after watching the first episode, even like it's that he's lied about his backstory, about where he's from. Not necessarily where he's from, but just the details at the very least. Like they become of age, gain powers, and go out and peacekeep a planet. It doesn't even make sense. Who's back home to repopulate your own planet? Like
That's right. We're the people in their prime,
yeah, it doesn't
But
even
yeah,
make sense. But
I
I think it's a General Zod situation or like a Lobo situation where he might have just murdered everyone back home and left. I don't know.
I don't know either, so I can only guess. But I'm kind of guessing that maybe he was a villain and he just fled,
Oh,
or
he's on the run. Yeah.
he was cast away or whatever, and decided to show up and change his name and realize that he had abilities on this planet that maybe he didn't have from where he came from, and
Yeah.
just came up with like a little bit of a weird backstory that was believable if you want to buy into the whole idea of Omni-Man.
No.
But again, I know Ty knows the truth, so
Boom.
thank you for not spoiling it that way.
Oh
And
no,
there
I
he
don't
is,
want to
the man
spoil. It's too
himself.
good.
Yeah.
I believe that's Huey from Blasting and Stashing Comics. As I was telling y'all earlier, that is the place to be every Friday night at 10 o'clock. We got 13 people in here. If you haven't already, check out their channel, Blasting and Stashing Comics. That is a great time every Friday night. Yeah, appreciate you coming by. And yeah, we're about to be getting ready to wrap it up for tonight. I've got a lot. Yeah,
Before we
look
go,
at that. When friends meet, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. There they are. Together again. Together again. It's fun pushing buttons. Before we go ahead.
Kong versus Godzilla.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'd like to rebrand this film and call it God versus Godzilla meets Tron. Like thumbs way down. I thought it was bad, and I am very much a Godzilla fan. I didn't like it. I thought it was predictable as hell. I don't know, Tyler, have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, and I just again, that's the reason why we have chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, right? To each
What
their
did you
own.
like about it?
Visually, I thought it seemed very rushed. The whole idea that they turned Godzilla into the villain for this film, even though in the last couple of Godzillas he was almost a little bit of an anti-hero. Again, to each their own. I thought it was very much rushed, and again with the visuals, the neon, the excess of the neon being everywhere. That's why I said it's like Kong versus Godzilla meets Tron.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's definitely not taking home any Oscars. I don't think they're shooting even for a nomination. But I thought visually it was I enjoy the aesthetics of it. The whole saturation of colors did catch my attention when Kong was trying to get up after the fight with Godzilla, and there's a fire to the right of him, and there's green light hitting him on the left. And then I even thought, where's the green light coming from? But when it panned back, there's an actual building that was green. And they were in Hong Kong. I don't know if you've seen pictures of Hong Kong, but it's a very colorful place at night. So they just really leaned heavily into that. And they just wanted to play with reds and blues. It was obvious they just wanted a specific color palette. But Pacific Rim was like that, and it didn't bother me. It just makes it aesthetically fun. I think that visually the best Godzilla movie they've done so far with Legendary was King of the Monsters. That one was just woo. But I had a fun watching it. I went into it expecting to see a giant monster fight movie, and that's what I got.
Yeah, I'd say this was my favorite one so far, but I just don't love these movies. So it just was a good time. I enjoyed the last third, and then I just move on.
Now, don't get me wrong. There was scenes that I enjoyed. Kong playing hopscotch with the U.S. military, going from one ship to another, trying to get onto the aircraft carrier, and what happened there with Godzilla's, where they decided to smack each other around on the aircraft carrier. But again, they just
wanted to fight on a boat, so they made it happen.
Yeah, but again, like I said, with King Kong jumping from ship to ship, playing hopscotch, essentially going across battleships and stuff.
Seems significantly smaller in this one.
I think did they shrink Godzilla or did they jack up King Kong?
I think they did both. I think they did both, because Kong, they even talked about how he's bigger. He's clearly bigger, but Godzilla, I feel like he was. I know that we're in a different city with taller buildings, so that plays into it a little bit. But the Godzilla from King of the Monsters, I don't feel like would have fit on an aircraft carrier. And I know that these are larger vessels. Like they established that in the second one, that these are not this is not set in like our reality. There is higher forms of technology. If you just look at the Monarch stations they're able to build, they're insanely huge. But from what I could tell, they didn't seem like. I know the perspective gets weird. It's hard to rein it all in with our brains, but it just seemed like they scaled Godzilla down a little bit, Kong up a little bit, just to kind of fill the gap. And one got me really big was when Kong made it to his throne in the center of the earth. He looked so small when you're watching him just walk around in such a large cavern that you lose track of how big or small that he is, until you see the perspective next to a person. So I think a lot of it is just tricks my brain was playing, because we're not used to seeing gorillas that big every day, you know what I mean? So it's hard to remember how big they are when we do run into them out there.
I did enjoy the quiet homage when Godzilla was battling Mechagodzilla, and they did the big pan back to represent the two of them battling, and it had almost like a white sky in the background, similar to what it was back in the late 50s, early 60s when the Japanese film was originally released. That they basically had that same panoramic shot, right? And even so much that the color of the sky was the same. So I enjoyed that part of it. But again, it
just didn't hit for you.
What
about the quiet homage where Godzilla was about to fire up his nuclear breath toward the beginning of the fight with Kong, and he took that weapon and shoved it down his throat? It wasn't a tree this time; it was a bone.
Yeah, that was good. It did have moments of flavor. Don't get me wrong, but
if I ever wanted to watch it again, I definitely would just watch the end. That. It would be like one that if I was flipping through channels and it was at that last third of the movie, I would leave it on. It was fun. But besides that, I just I don't care.
Yeah, I've watched it a few times at this point just because I like Godzilla movies. I like King Kong movies. I like the old ones. So none of the old ones were fantastic movies. Tell me your favorite main character from any of the old Godzilla movies.
Right.
Tell me what they were up to during those movies. Nobody cares. That's not the point of them. You're just watching monsters fight. And I went into it like that. Chamar made a good point. That first one, the same director that made the first one made Rogue One. That is a very grounded, visually amazing director. And it was done like just a personal character movie, and the monsters were just the backdrop. And then King of the Monsters, they kind of forced them more toward the front. And in this, they spotlighted them. So they're just kind of doing them a little different each time, I think they're gauging people a little more. And with a movie like Godzilla versus Kong with that much hype, you really got to deliver as much of that as you can. And me personally, my favorite movie of all time is the 1933 King Kong movie with Fay Ray. Just my absolute favorite movie ever. So I just always had a natural bias toward Kong. I enjoy it, in any capacity. Something's better than nothing. Smooches? Smooches. Those are smooches. What, you come back for more? But,
are we
yeah,
about to go PG-13?
yeah,
Where's the candy?
the candy. Oh, it's on the counter, you little kid. But it's too late for candy, Kyle. Anyways, yeah, I had fun with it. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up. I've got to continue this work marathon, and 5 o'clock comes quick. I do appreciate everyone coming. Y'all got anything you want to shout out for your channels coming up?
Go ahead, Chris.
This past Friday I released the biggest video in the history of my channel where I talk about keys, hotkeys, grails, and holy grails. And I like to think that I backed up my statement. It's a little bit of a longer video, around the 20-minute mark. For those who haven't seen it, please donate a little bit of your life and check it out. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. I always try to respond to every comment. Just a few moments ago, a couple hours ago, Mark and I worked again on a collaborative deal, and we released 2 cool guys, 2 hot picks, where we each pick an individual hot pick, that comic book that's going to be released this upcoming New Comic Book Day. Like I said, that's been released, and Mark's kind enough to let me premiere that on my channel. Tomorrow I'll be doing, tomorrow's Monday, another Mystery Box Monday, and then on these long weekends really mess me up. And Wednesday will be New Comic Book Day, and that'll be in my car.
Very cool. Plug away.
Totally. So on ours, we're coming up on 600 subscribers, like Mark just flew past, and then we're gonna have an announcement and a few other things. Yeah, I just did that unboxing of my Invincible #1. You can go check that out, and we have a couple big whack hacks coming up that'll help the community with a lot of different things to preserve your comic books.
Dude, your grading whack hack was like the greatest thing that's ever happened in my life. Like, so many of my books are graded now that weren't before.
Oh yeah,
Safe and secure in the
DIY.
freezer. Yeah, the DIY grading service. Yeah. My only problem is I have to get more containers so I can grade more than 1 or 2 at a time. I tried grading 2 at a time, and I like to be able to separate them once they're done grading, and it makes it more difficult. So I need more containers.
Yeah. You'll get it. You'll get it.
That's good news.
Yeah, we might do that.
You heard it here first on Whack Comics is starting a new series, 2 ugly guys, 2 okay picks.
Yep.
Where's the lawyers?
Yeah, we'll have to find a second ugly guy to do it with Lee, but we'll do it.
Savage.
Really cool. So yeah, if y'all haven't, check out the 2 cool guys, 2 hot picks over on the Comic Vex channel, and it's definitely not nice of me to let you host it. I feel like I'm just throwing you a curveball, letting you do more of the work. That's all. But
I enjoy it.
Yeah, yesterday I had the New Comic Book Day video come out for this coming Wednesday. There's a lot of good stuff coming. There's also one that I mentioned on there that I added to my pool list, and that's Geiger #1 from Image from Jeff Johns and Gary Franks. That's definitely going on the pool box. I went back and looked more into that. I didn't even realize that was a Jeff Johns book. I knew he was going to be moving to do an Image book, and I didn't realize that's the one. But I'm excited about that. It's going to be awesome. And maybe I can do both parts. Tomorrow I do have a video recorded for tomorrow with a mystery mail call. I got $50 worth of mystery box books from the only person I ever bought a mystery box from B. Ramey on Instagram. So you'll see
a stack right there.
Wow.
See what all's in there. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. and then Tuesday at 7 a.m. I did an unboxing, and I don't know what I'll do from there. I've got so much mail. Like, you'll see tomorrow in that video, the opening scene, how much mail was dumped in my lap this weekend. And because I'm working so much, my format's going to be a little bit different. I doubt I'll go live Tuesday. I doubt that I'll be able to go live Friday morning. I might be able to pull off Friday morning if I could go into work late. I don't know. My schedule's just going to be weird. But, yeah, Wednesday is the live 600 subscriber giveaway. I'm currently sitting at like 643, so I appreciate everybody to subscribe to the channel. share that out. Let people know. Tell them to check out the channel if they want to subscribe. I'd appreciate it. If not, I understand. The more people that subscribe, the less your chances are of winning. So don't tell them to subscribe. Keep it a secret till afterwards. But then tell them. But as always, I appreciate you guys coming on here and hanging out with me. I really, really enjoy it. And thanks everybody for stopping by and watching. And until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we